Roronoa Zoro's goal has been clear from the very start of the show, to become the world's best and the world's strongest swordsman. It is certain that Zoro is undoubtedly among the strongest swordsmen in all of anime, but is he truly the strongest or not? Well, let's see what happens when Zoro is faced against different anime swordsmen. Is Zoro stronger than Sasuke from the Naruto series? How about Kenpachi from Bleach? Or how about Yuta from Jujutsu Kaisen? Well, before we begin, whenever we present manga information from another series, we will be giving a small warning on the top left as to what each part will include, and up until which time in the video. Let's begin. Spinning the wheel. Zoro's first opponent is Yoriichi Sugikuni from Demon Slayer. Yoriichi is part of an anime universe that is arguably weaker than the One Piece universe, but it is a fact that Yoriichi was by far the strongest Demon Slayer in history, able to destroy even a demigod like Demon King Muzan. It's obvious that Yoriichi has mastered the art of swordsmanship and stands at the pinnacle of power when it comes to Demon Slayer. But will that be enough to defeat Roronoa Zoro? Let's find out! You see, being born with a Demon Slayer mark, access to the transparent world and selfless state, as well as possessing a physique polished to the highest caliber and innate swordsmanship talent, Yoriichi possesses all of extraordinary speed, reflexes, sword-wielding skills, enhanced physical strength and power, as well as exceptional tactical intellect suited for all kinds of battles. But when it comes to Roronoa Zoro, let's compare each of these to see what happens. Let's assume for a moment that Conqueror's Haki does not work on Yoriichi. When it comes to speed, Zoro is at least equal to Yoriichi, if not faster than him. For strength now, it goes to Zoro, as we believe that his physique cannot be easily topped. I mean, damn, check Zoro lifting these weights and tell me that Zoro is not stronger than Yoriichi. Plus the fact that Zoro can now reinforce his swords with armament haki and make them even stronger means that his swords are also more durable than Yoriichi's. Durability would once again go to Zoro, as let's not forget his epic nothing happened moment, or the fact that even after being on the verge of death against Kaido, with some medical help, he managed to fight King on equal ground and even defeat him. Now, Zoro's three-sword style would also be crucial. However, even though Zoro does indeed have three swords, it was stated that when Yoriichi was fighting, it seemed like he was wielding 6 swords, and not just the one he was actually holding. After all, that was the reason that the Yoriichi doll was created having 6 arms, in order to try and replicate this elite movement of Yoriichi. All in all, Zoro's slashes are much more powerful, as even before learning how to use haki on his attacks, he was able to destroy an entire ship on Sabaody with a single slash. After a few arcs, his attacks became even crazier when he was able to destroy an entire meteor, cut Pika in half, or even casually slice an entire cliff with a single slash. Zoro takes an easy win for this round. Similarly to other videos like this we post, different opponents that obviously have different skills than others might be able to fight against Zoro more effectively than the rest, meaning that even if a character is overall weaker than another, the weaker character might actually have better chances defeating Zoro, as again, it all depends on both his set of unique abilities and power level. Let's spin the wheel again. And we now have the captain of the Black Bulls, Yami from Black Clover. Yami uses a very rare magic attribute to generate and manipulate the element of darkness. Part of his magic is the ability to create this darkness-based subscribe button for you to click. Only those who overcome their limits right here, right now, can press it. So let's see what you can do here. But seriously, Yami primarily uses this magic by channeling it into his katana and then unleash insanely destructive attacks. One of its uses occurred during Yami's fight with Licht, where Yami was able to absorb the light attacks into the darkness and thus neutralize them. His attacks are so overpowered that they can literally interact with the other world, as let's not forget that certain moves can even cut through dimensions. Due to his dark magic's ability to affect the other world naturally, Yami is ranked as an arcane stage mage. Was that all? Not even close. By using reinforcement magic, Yami increases his physical abilities tremendously and thus becomes faster, stronger, and more agile. His skill is great enough to remain standing under the immense pressure of Dante Zogratis' devil-boosted gravity magic. Plus, Yami can even use restraining magic in order to immobilize his opponents. Both Zoro and Yami are master swordsmen. Both of them are incredibly strong and fast. Their durability is off the charts, and they can both cause devastating damage with their sword attacks that can literally cut almost through anything. If I had to give this win to someone, then I believe that Zoro would maybe have a small advantage. However, since this is highly debatable, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Is Zoro stronger than Yami or not? Spinning that wheel again. We now have Zabuza from the Naruto series. Once again, we leave out fainting from Conqueror's Haki for Zoro and Genjutsu for Zabuza, as both of these characters would not be done that easily. Zabuza was one of Kirigakure's most powerful shinobi, vicious in battle. His talent for combat was seen even as a child, who had yet to begin in the academy, as he killed over 100 trained students single-handedly. As an adult, he could compete against one of Konohagakure's strongest shinobis, Kakashi Hatake, for an extended period of time. Zabuza was very physically strong, able to effortlessly wield the large Kubikiri Bocho for long periods of time unfazed, even with one hand. He was also blazingly fast and equally proficient in taijutsu, able to match Kakashi in both, and with the latter able to fight off and kill dozens of Gato's men with the loss of both his arms, using well-coordinated kicks and a kunai in his mouth, during which he showed remarkable levels of stamina and endurance, able to continue fighting effectively despite the injuries he received from Kakashi and the large number of blades that pierced him. Zabuza could also take a direct hit from a powerful water technique, seemingly without major damage, and still move relatively normally shortly afterwards. Zabuza was also a master of stealth and assassination. He was most renowned throughout all countries for his high skill in killing opponents through zero visibility. Kakashi noted that his silent killing prowess was second to none. This technique puts the victim under tremendous pressure before Zabuza even attacks, as it is noted that even the slightest movement of the eye was enough to alert Zabuza of his victim's location. During his time as Kirinin, Zabuza was one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist, a group composed of the village's top swordsmen. The generation of swordsmen he belonged to was noted as the strongest ever produced within Kirigakure, a further testament to Zabuza's impressive skills. We did speak quite a bit about him and how strong he truly was, but would he be able to defeat Zoro? Yeah, this battle ends in a blink of an eye, as Zoro slashes Zabuza in 2 before he can even react. Zoro is both faster, stronger, and a better swordsman. But let's spin the wheel again. And we now have Levi Auran from Attack on Titan. Being an Ackerman, Levi has extraordinary abilities and a proficiency in killing Titans. After all, he was indeed dubbed as humanity's strongest soldier. Even fully flexed Titans were literally terrified of him. But will Levi Fidget Spinner Ackerman be able to defeat Zoro? Well, despite having exceptional strength, intelligence, speed, and great maneuver abilities, none of these would matter in front of Zoro. Levi loses, and it's not even close. And next, one of the most debatable battles in today's video, and probably the one that split the anime fandom as much as any other cross-anime debate. In this round, we have Roronoa Zoro against Sasuke Uchiha from the Naruto series. For this battle, we will analyze 3 different versions of Sasuke. One version being War Arc Sasuke before having received 6 Paths Chakra, and thus a Rinnegan. One version being Prime Adult Sasuke without the Boruto nerf that made him being constantly out of chakra. And another version after Sasuke had lost his Rinnegan. Let's start with War Arc Sasuke before having received 6 Paths Chakra. In this stage, Sasuke is at least Kage level. He has a pair of Eternal Mangekyo Sharingans, and let me tell you, this is no joke. All of Amaterasu, Susanoo, and Chidori are insanely overpowered. Add the fact that Sasuke is incredibly fast, clever, and could use all kinds of overpowered ninjutsu, on top of wielding a sword as well. Is Zoro really capable of defeating him? Well, once again, we will take out of the equation Genjutsu and Conqueror's Haki, as both of these characters would be immune to the other if we're to assume this battle is to happen. When it comes to Amaterasu, it is true that fast opponents can never be trapped in it. If Zoro manages to avoid it once, and thus knows what's coming, then we believe he could easily evade it multiple times. How about Chidori? For similar reasons, I don't think that Zoro would be done for so easily, as even though Chidori is indeed quite strong, with a good observation haki as well as noteworthy speed like Zoro's, we believe that Zoro would indeed be able to evade this attack against this version of Sasuke. Well, how about Susanoo then? After all, this summon was dubbed as, quote, the ultimate defense. Can Zoro cut through Susanoo? Well, I'm not so sure, to be honest, as even though Susanoo is pretty sturdy, Zoro was able to cut through everything his attacks actually landed on. But no matter if Zoro can cut through Susanoo or not, what is important to note is that Sasuke cannot keep the Susanoo active indefinitely, as this consumes his chakra reserves like crazy. And will Sasuke be able to deal the final blow on Zoro while using Susanoo? Well, I wouldn't count on it so much, as after all, we saw that certain skilled individuals can fight against Susanoo without any problems. Hashirama was able to defeat a Susanoo-coded Kurama that was actually controlled by the god of shinobi, Madara himself, while Ishiki Otsutsuki literally played with both Naruto's Kurama and Sasuke's Susanoo at at the same time. Plus, that version of Sasuke is much stronger than the one we're currently discussing. What I'm trying to point out here is that Sasuke in this version will not be able to defeat Zoro just by using Susanoo either. Given that Sasuke is far from his strongest version, I would have to give the advantage to Zoro, without of course meaning that Sasuke could not take this round. But once again, this is pretty debatable ranking, so you can go ahead and let us know in the comments down below if you disagree with this selection or not. But before we go to the strongest version of Sasuke, let's first discuss his adult version without the Rinnegan, as well as having only one arm. You see, even though Sasuke got much stronger, faster, more skilled in ninjutsu, as well as having become more experienced, there's an important issue I would like to emphasize on. Sasuke only has one arm and is actually fighting against an opponent that wields not one or two, but actually 3 swords. So yeah, that's a pretty major downside. Don't even get me started on the long range attacks that Zoro can unleash. If the battle were to go to a close range confrontation, then Sasuke would probably have to use shadow clones in order to counter Zoro's blows. And that seems like quite a waste of chakra, right? As after all, the shadow clones are much weaker than the original and would probably be slashed sooner or later by the Egghead Island version of Zoro. Once again, even debatable, I lean more towards giving Zoro a small advantage. But since this is again debatable, you can comment your take on this round. But finally, we reach the most important version of Sasuke, Prime Sasuke against the Prime version of Zoro. Now that will be a really difficult battle to rank. You see, Sasuke, now with his prime strength, his chakra reserves are massive, his Susanoo is powered up to a point that it becomes many times bigger and more powerful, he's got 2 hands, 6 paths chakra, and even Rinnegan. Plus, his Rinnegan ability that allows for dimensional travel, place swap, and even a move called Planetary Devastation is surely no joke. I'll be honest, this ranking is very difficult to rule. So for this one, I completely leave it up to you guys to decide. Is Prime Sasuke or Egghead Island Zoro stronger? Let us know in the comments down below. Spinning the wheel again. We now have Himura Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin. Himura is one of the most legendary anime swordsmen, and for many OG fans of this anime and manga, rightfully so. Despite Kenshin's very unimposing appearance in all regards, he easily ranks among the most powerful warriors in the series. Kenshin is shown able to engage in prolonged battles, using a variety of techniques. With his slim and light frame, he is noticeably agile, able to use his environment to his advantage, flipping about and jumping off the terrain to confuse his foe and find an opening, even running across walls. He is also well known for his remarkable battle instinct, able to instinctively adapt to his opponent's style, letting him see through their true nature and read their attack patterns. However, the fact remains that Himura has no insane abilities like being able to cut through entire cliffs, use armament haki, or observation haki. At the end of the day, Zoro would surely take an easy win here, but let's spin the wheel again. And we now have Guts from Berserk. Any manga readers of Berserk know that Guts is as brutal as it gets. After all, Berserk is indeed a manga that is definitely not for the soft-hearted. Guts, who's also known as the Black Swordsman, wields an extremely large sword with ease. Despite this huge and heavy sword, Guts is notably dexterous and agile in the heat of battle, capable of dodging and countering even the most rapid strikes. He is a combat pragmatist and a versatile improviser, capitalizing on any opportunity available to surmount opposition. With the power of the Berserker armor, Guts is able to ignore the physiological and subconscious safety mechanisms of his own body. In this state, his already superhuman physicality is tremendously amplified as well. Plus, while utilizing the armor, Guts has also demonstrated the ability to both catch and toss aside a ship's falling main mast. But would Zoro lose? Not quite, because everything that Guts can do in terms of physical abilities, Zoro can do as well. Add the incredible slashes of Zoro that can cut through everything, and Zoro does not face many difficulties for this round. But you see, the next round will not be so easy. That's because we now have Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. Will Zoro be able to defeat Ichigo? Let's find out! Now, I'll start by just saying that the Bleach universe is arguably stronger than One Piece. At least, that's how it is during Egghead Island. Ichigo's strongest form, which utilizes all of his Quincy, Shinigami, Fullbring, and Hollow powers, grant an insane set of abilities that, among others, allow him to heal himself, protect his body from outside attacks, move at tremendous speeds, and even strike with enough power to take down even gods. Ichigo would face little trouble defeating Zoro. Spinning the wheel again. We now have Asta from Black Clover. Asta does indeed have a set of unique abilities. However, they are mostly effective in the Black Clover universe, as his main weapon is indeed his anti-magic swords that can negate magic. Even though Asta is a master swordsman, has great speed, strength, and durability, none of these would eventually be enough to take down Zoro. Once again, Zoro takes this round. Next, we have another new-gen character. This time, Arthur from Fire Force. Even though in the anime, Arthur is not so strong. Believe me, anyone who read the manga knows just how broken his abilities can be. After training with Benimaru, Arthur managed to defeat the Press of Death, a technique that allows him to acknowledge the feeling of death to push his body beyond his limits, achieving a state of hysterical strength. After fighting with Dragon, Arthur uses his greatest technique yet, Steeled for Death. As stated by Arthur, the Press of Death is only the acknowledgement of death, which allows him to push his body to its limits. Steeled for Death is the extreme feeling that surpasses the Press of Death, that allows him to unleash his strongest attack while accepting the fact that he is going to die. This technique allows the user to commit unimaginable feats of strength, in which standard attacks will become insanely powerful. This was showcased in the final showdown by Arthur, when a single violent slash completely split the earth into two, and single-handedly sliced Dragon in half. So yeah, until Zoro can split the earth in half, I don't think he can win against this opponent. Spinning the wheel again, we have once again a swordsman from the Bleach anime, this time Zaraki Kenpachi, the character with the worst sense of direction in Bleach, against the character with the worst sense of direction in One Piece.
Finally, a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary!
For the majority of the anime, Zaraki was shown suppressing his own strength, just so he could have a good fight with his opponents. If Zaraki is not the definition of a monster, then I don't know what is. Even by a captain's standards, Zaraki's spiritual energy is monstrous. Zaraki possesses an extreme degree of physical strength, most commonly displayed by his ability to push back his opponent's attacks with a single arm, even if the opponent's weapons and attacks are gigantic in size. In his fight with Gremmy, Zaraki was able to exceed his limits even further and defeat an opponent with such an insane ability, like bringing his imagination into reality, and that was only in his Shikai version. In his Bankai now, Zaraki releases a huge wave of energy powerful enough to level nearby buildings. In this form, Zaraki's skin turns red, and he gains multiple black markings across his face and horns on his forehead, causing him to resemble a demon. Zaraki's Bankai grants him tremendous increase in physical strength and cutting power, allowing him to effortlessly topple a gigantic Gerard Valkyrie with a single blow, rip off his arm at a single motion, and cut him completely in half from a considerable distance. For all the mentioned reasons, I do believe that Zoro would lose this round. Spinning the wheel again, we now have Ura Scarlet from Fairy Tail. One of the main abilities of Urza is her sword magic. As the name implies, this is a type of magic which revolves around the use of swords. Through the use of this magic, Urza is capable of using her swords to perform different magical attacks. This is usually done in combination with specific armors of hers, which make her a very deadly combatant. It is also shown that she can also combine different armors with other swords from other armors to either block or attack using deadlier force, and mixing different elements together. Her telekinesis is also no joke, as Urza can perform different attacks by controlling her swords remotely. Enhanced strength, master swordsmanship, keen intellect, immense endurance, and reflexes. Would this set of abilities be able to take on Zoro? Yeah, not so likely. Zoro has a clear advantage for this round as well. On to the final line. We now get Trunks from Dragon Ball series. Now that battle will be something. I mean, the first we ever saw of Trunks was future Trunks against Frieza, where he single-handedly split him in half with a single slash. And yeah, we're talking about a character that destroyed planets for a hobby. And not only that, this form of Trunks is not even close to his strongest form. After all, Trunks can use his Super Saiyan form as well. And that was only the tip of the iceberg, because a few episodes later, Vegeta and Trunks train in the hyperbolic time chamber for 1 year in order to defeat the androids. Both of them are able to ascend to new heights, even surpassing the Super Saiyan transformation. Trunks can go to Super Saiyan 1, 2, and even 3, something that not even his father was able to do. Before the Cell games, Trunks returns to the hyperbolic time chamber again and is able to double his base power once again. After this point, Trunks continues getting stronger and stronger, and I think there's no doubt in anyone's mind that Trunks can kill Zoro as easily as stepping out a bug. The only debate that can be made is whether Kid Trunks can defeat Zoro or not. I mean, in the original timeline, Kid Trunks is able to go Super Saiyan, so I'm not sure if Zoro could win even against this version of Trunks. Yeah, Trunks is on a whole different level than Zoro. And the final round of today's video, Yuta Okotsu from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yuta is one of only 4 special grade sorcerers recognized by Jujutsu High. While being haunted by Rika's vengeful spirit, Yuta was immediately registered as a special grade due to Rika's immense power, making him the most recent person to receive the ranking. Continuing training throughout his tenure at Jujutsu High, Yuta continued to grow stronger and built a solid foundation as a sorcerer. On December 24th, 2017, Suguru Geto targeted targeted Yuta and injured his friends while invading the school. This set Yuta off, unleashing extraordinary levels of cursed energy throughout his body. This resulted in a mighty increase of Yuta's physical abilities and fine-tuning of his senses. Alongside Rika, Yuta was able to match Geto one-on-one. He revealed not only the ability to use the extremely rare reversed curse technique, but the capacity to copy other curse techniques like cursed speech as well. Yuta was only able to defeat Geto by vowing to give his life in exchange for removing the limiters on Rika's boundless power, ultimately overpowering Maximum Uzumaki and Tamamo no Mei incarnate. Yuta only showcased a small portion of his abilities against Yuji, and yet his very presence intimidated the likes of Naoya and Chozo. He displayed the full extent of his powers during the Culling game, where Yuta was matched up against some of the strongest players the deadly Battle Royale had to offer. He effortlessly dispatched Drew, and most likely could have also made short work of Kurorushi if he had chosen to use reversed curse technique from the beginning. Yuta put up fierce resistance against Takako Uro and Ryo Ishigori directly after defeating Kurorushi. He used reversed curse technique and cursed energy manipulation to survive their attacks, but could hardly go on the offensive against their curse techniques. In order to ensure victory, Yuta went all out and showcased the full extent of his abilities. This guy can use domain expansion, copy techniques, form binding vows, advanced regeneration through reverse curse technique, has an almost never-ending supply of cursed energy, and incredible physical strength, just to name a few. However, I do believe that all it takes is a single attack from Zoro to land for this battle to end. Once again, Zoro's attacks can literally cut through entire mountains. So the moment one of Zoro's attacks lands on Yuta, then Yuta would face the same fate as his teacher Gojo. Zoro has a clear advantage for this round. Check out this video where we present the strongest Devil Fruit awakenings when and if they happen in One Piece. Go on, check it out!